A kiss from an 80-year-old woman actually resurrected Miyamoto Musashi, the strongest swordsman in history. Scientists were all stunned. They had no idea what this old woman was doing. But strangely enough, this kiss caused Miyamoto's previously flat brainwaves to become active. The next moment, the scars on his body began to appear. Then, the muscles on his face regained their elasticity. Just as everyone was shocked, Miyamoto's limbs suddenly began to twitch. Unexpectedly, this samurai, who had been dead for 500 years, had indeed been successfully revived. But the first thing Miyamoto did after waking up was to firmly grab the old woman by the face. No matter how she struggled, it was useless. At this moment, Miyamoto looked at the unfamiliar surroundings. He violently threw the old woman aside. Then, in an instant, he appeared behind the group. The scientists who witnessed this were terrified. However, Miyamoto did not intend to take their lives. He simply asked a few questions. The most important thing was the purpose of these people in reviving him. Seeing this, Tokugawa quickly explained. He told Miyamoto not to worry about anything, just do as he pleased. But there was one request, that Miyamoto would fight against martial artists. However, Miyamoto said that in his current state, he couldn't even go out. Hearing this, Tokugawa immediately brought out prepared clothes. Miyamoto put on the clothes smoothly, since he had been revived. He also wanted to experience the pleasures of modern society. Miyamoto was riding in Tokugawa's car, ing through the streets. Looking at the towering skyscrapers before him, he was utterly astounded. These colossal structures were far more magnificent than anything he had seen. The stylishly dressed passers-by around him made him feel out of place. There were not only buildings that could move up and down, but also iron boxes that ran faster than horses. Everything before him completely overturned Miyamoto's imagination. Then, Tokugawa took him to his underground fighting arena. Miyamoto grabbed a handful of sand. He could clearly feel that this was his true place. At that moment, a swordsman approached from the opposite side of the arena. He was Japan's strongest swordsman of the present day. But the moment this top expert saw Miyamoto, he broke out in a cold sweat from fear. He couldn't help but ask about the other's identity. However, Tokugawa did not reveal Miyamoto's identity because they had agreed earlier that they would only reveal it after the fight. But the swordsman, scared, conceded defeat directly. From the moment they first met until now, he had already been cut by the opponent a full 6 times. If you count this current moment, then Miyamoto had cut him 7 times. When they first met, the swordsman was sliced from head to toe in one stroke. The second stroke pierced directly through his throat. The third stroke went straight through his chest. The fourth stroke slashed down from the side. The fifth stroke cut him in half at the waist. The sixth stroke slanted from shoulder to thigh. The seventh stroke severed both arms together. At this point, Tokugawa looked very puzzled. Since Miyamoto didn't hold any weapon in his hand, how could he have delivered those slashes? Hearing this, Miyamoto smiled slightly. Even without a sword in hand, he could still cut. Miyamoto asked to see the opponent's weapon. Looking at the katana in his hand, Miyamoto couldn't help but show a nostalgic expression. Although the sword's decoration was very ornate, in Miyamoto's eyes, it was useless. Seeing this, Tokugawa requested Miyamoto to demonstrate his swordsmanship, but these two swords could not withstand Miyamoto's strength. Miyamoto gripped the katana tightly with his index finger and thumb. The next moment, he swung his hands down fiercely. The two katanas instantly snapped in half at the hilt. In Miyamoto's view, such swords could only be called junk. They had the appearance of a sword, but couldn't even withstand his own force. Having said that, Miyamoto expressed his desire to meet the strongest person here. No matter who it was, he would completely defeat them.